Good morning. Let's go and check the page 372 that you did last night. So in case you had any questions, I'm just going to do it as a video so that we have more time to take the quiz. All right, so the first thing you're going to do, you've got the square root of 5 and you got the square root of 40. Let's go and multiply those together since they have the same root, and that's going to give us a 200. And then we want to find a perfect square that goes into 200. So there are a lot of perfect squares that go into 200, but the biggest one is 100. So 100 times 2. Now you're just going to go and take the square root of each part. So we know the square root of 100 is 10, and we can't do anything with the square root of 2, so that's all we do with that. There's your answer. All right, let's go and do number 38. We've got the cube root. Now they're both the same root, so we can go and multiply what's underneath there. So we're going to take the cube root of 320. And let's go find a perfect cube that goes into 320. All right, so sorry, I had like a technical problem. I don't know what you saw on that. But anyway, so perfect cube that goes into 320 is 64. So we're going to take the cube root of 64 and we're going to multiply it by whatever we get. 320 divided by 64 gives me 5. So we're going to take the cube root of that. So you can take the cube root of 64, and we know what that is. That is 4. Cannot take the cube root of 5, so we just leave it alone. And that's all you do. All right, let's go try the next one. Now, these are both square roots, so we can multiply them together. So start with what's on the outside. So there's nothing on the outside here, but there's a 3 on the outside here. So I'm going to go and put a 3 on the outside to start with. And then I'm going to make a big, giant square root sign. Now we've got what do we got underneath that? We've got, let's just pretend we're multiplying this. We've got x to the 5th times y to the 5th. And then we're going to multiply it by 2x to the 7th, y to the 6th. So we're going to put our 2 first. All right, we're done with that. And then we're going to add our exponents of our x's. So you've got x to the 5th and x to the 7th. So that's x to the 12th. And then we're going to add the exponents of our y's. And we've got y to the 11th. Okay, so now if you want, you can go ahead and write it in rational form. So I'm going to write 3 on the outside. 2 has to stay, and so that's going to have to just stay underneath the radical. I already know that's going to stay under the radical, but I'm going to write that 2 to the 1/2. Remember that we're still doing the square root of 2. All right, that's a little 2 underneath there. And then we've got x to the 12 over 2 because it's a square root, and y to the 11 over 2 because it's a square root. Let's go and put it back into radical form. I'm going to write a big radical and see which part it goes in. Does it go outside or inside? So 3 stays out. All right, done with 3. 2 to the 1/2, you can't do anything with that, so you can't do anything with the square root of 2, so you got to leave it in there. All right. What happens to 12 over 2? Well, that becomes x to the 6th. All of them come out. And then when we go, how many times does 2 go into 11 evenly? Well, it goes in 5 times, right? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. So it goes in 5 times. So we're going to write y to the 5th. And then 1 is going to be left over, so we're going to put a y in under the radical. There you go, that's that part. Let's go and switch down to the next part. I'm afraid to pause this because it's going to do weird stuff. So I'm just going to scroll as best I can and extend the page. All right, here we go. All right, so let's try number 40. So again, we're going to multiply everything that's on the outside. Switch this over again. All right, multiply everything on the outside. So we're going to do multiply 5 times 2, we get 10. And then we're going to multiply everything on the inside together. So you got a 2 and a 2, so that's a 4. You got x to the 1st times x to the third, so that's x to the fourth. And then you've got y to the sixth times y to the first. So you add your exponents, you get y to the seventh. Now we're going to go and simplify. So 10 comes down. 4 is being raised to the 1/2 power. X to the fourth is also being raised to the 1/2 power. And y to the seventh is going to be raised to the 1/2 power because this is a square root, so we put a 2. All right, so now we're going to go and simplify this. So we've got 10 times 4 to the 1/2. That's the square root of 4, so that's 2. And then we can reduce this exponent. 4 divided by 2 becomes an x squared. And then we say, well, how many times does 2 go into 7? 7 divided by 2 is 3.5, so it's going to go in 3 whole times. All right, 3 whole times, and then you're going to have 1 left over, okay, because 3 times 2 is 6, and to get to 7, you got 1 more you got to do. We're not quite done. We got to multiply these two guys together first. 20 x squared y cubed square root of y. There's your answer. All right, let's go on. Let's do the next one. So I've got, this is a little different. This goes with what we've been doing in the video before. You got square root of 2 times the square root of 50. I'm going to distribute this, and I get the square root of 100. And then I get, when I distribute the second part, square root of 2 times 7 is just 7 square root of 2. All right, now I'm going to evaluate. Well, look, square root of 100 is a perfect square. That's 10. And there's nothing I can do with the other part, so I'm just going to leave it. And there's your answer. Write your rational number first and then your irrational number second. So your square roots always go second. All right, so let's try the next one. We're going to distribute. Let me pick a different color. 3 times 5 is 15. And then 3 times the square root of 21 is 3 times the square root of 21. Now, can you take a perfect square out of 21? I don't think so. I think we're done. That is it. That's all you can do with that problem. So if you were turning it into something really challenging, you were doing way too much work. Let's do one more. All right, we've got, I like purple. This one's a little more challenging. Yeah, square root of 5 times the square root of 5. Now that's the square root of 25. Okay, and then we're going to do the square root of 5 times the square root of 15, and that's going to give us the square root of 75. This is a little more challenging. This is not on your quiz today. So we've got, oh, we know what the square root of 25 is. We know that that's 5. But we've got to find a perfect square that goes into 75. So that's going to give us, oh, 25 goes into 75 3 times. All right, now let's keep going down. You got to keep simplifying. Bring down your 5. Bring down your plus sign. Square root of 25 is 5. And then we're just going to do square root of 3 because you can't do anything with that. All right, that's it. Okay, so I think you're ready for your quiz. We're going to take it in groups, and you're going to be on Google Classroom. I'm going to post it on Google Classroom for your group. Okay, have a great day.